Hello, back again to do another unboxing and review. Today we're going to be looking at this super easy to carry, lightweight travel security alarm. It comes from Lewis & Clark, and this particular product line is called Safebox. So as you can see, I have not opened this yet, so obviously I have not used it, but in a way I actually have already used this item. It's just that it was branded as something different, and it was 10 years ago. So this appears to use, from what I looked at the box, it appears to use all the same techniques and functions. It's just now it's branded under the Safebox deal. However, since I have used one of these before, I can tell you they're incredibly handy, so let's go ahead and get at it. So let's take a look around the box. Alright, so here on the front of the box we have Safebox there in big bold letters in attention grabbing orange. And then by contrast we have Lewis & Clark way up here, actually camouflaged in with the background, and I'll give you my take on that on the next section in the video. But let's continue with the look around the box here. You can see they're illustrated with a picture of how the device is intended to be used. Pretty straightforward. You don't even need text to kind of understand how it works, but we'll get into that later. Okay, travel security alarm. I'll leave no question about what this thing's supposed to do, and about as big as text as they could fit on the side. Okay, 91 decibels of loudness. And also, if you notice here, built-in flashlight, and they give you a little hint there with what I assume is supposed to look like light radiating out of that LED there on the bottom. Okay, so now go to the back. I'll go ahead and just scroll by here. You can read this if you want. Alright, so we have batteries included. And then now here are some of the uses that this device can be. So we have flashlight, we have the how you put it on a door. You can also use it on a window, and then you can use it as a personal security alarm. Okay, and then just the other barcode and whatnot. Okay. Alright, so overall impressions of the packaging. I like it, and I also think they use good quality material here as well. So let's get into it. You have a typical hanging card type package. This is blister on card. You have the clear blister, which allows the potential customer to see the item itself. They don't have to depend on a picture to kind of get an idea. They can see what they're going to get. Now the card is thick laminated cardboard, so less likely to crumple or get water stains on it or whatnot, so keeping the item looking crisp. Alright, now let's talk about the coloring. They decided to go with this kind of what looks like diamond plate design, perhaps to give you the idea of ruggedness, maybe. And then of course their logo matches with the item's body color there, and then kind of ties it together. But now let's get back to this Lewis & Clark. If you forgot, that was way up here in this corner. You might not even be able to see it on camera from this distance. And now I'm not sure if this is a coincidence, gray logo, gray background, or if this is intentional. I do know in some cases, sometimes the parent brand or company will like to kind of put themselves a little off the center stage and allow the product line, in this case Safebox, to potentially stand on its own. That might be what they're doing here. Again, it could be coincidence. But overall, I like the packaging, and I'm going to get into it now, so let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so I went ahead and cut along the edge here with a box cutter, and so let me get it out. There we go. Looks like we have the paperwork first here. So looks like a really abbreviated operation or instructions. Okay. Okay, and then here's the item. Alright, so first of all, it is very lightweight, so there's really no excuse to not carry this with you. I'll weigh it and put the weight up there. Okay, so now let's look. Looks like we have a battery blocker in here, so this little tab leads to something that is blocking contact between the battery and the contacts of the device itself. This is, of course, is to make it so that when you finally do buy the device and get it in your hands, the batteries aren't dead before you even get to use it. Alright, so it looks like we have a button here, which probably activates the flashlight. We have some holes here, most likely the speaker. And then on the back, you can see where the batteries are. Batteries are included, but it looks like they're easily replaced with a sliding battery door. Here, I'll show you what that is in a sec. Let's go ahead and look at the LED there on the bottom. Okay, so now up here, this little rubber band, just to make it tidy and fit in the packaging, but you can see you do get some length. again, this is one of, among being a wire, it's also how you're going to hang it from the doorknob. Looks like a slide. Yeah, so the idea here, in case you don't know, is if the doorknob, let's say, is that, like one of those round doorknobs is about there, you can slide this up so you get a good fit around the doorknob, right? Okay, so now let's get to the actual prongs here. These slide out. Alright. And you can see, okay, so you can, there's a little, this is obviously not to be taken off when you actually get it, but I'll explain how this thing essentially works. So, okay, so take that off. Make sure you take that off before you use it for the first time. Okay, so you can see now without that, these fan open, right? Alright, so here, when you want to put this away, you have to push these together and then put them in here. And then, there you go. So now, you want to know how does this work? Alright, so when these two prongs are separated, that is the signal for the device to activate the siren. When these are pushed together and they make contact, then the siren will not sound. So this is your trigger. Boop, and then now the thing would go woo 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 woo, which of course we'll test in a bit. Okay, so I'll put these two tongues together, insert them in there. As far as removing the battery blocker, I might as well just show you how the battery door opens. There we go. So here are the included batteries. And then take it out. The reason is sometimes people just keep the battery door shut and they just yank the part that was exposed, hoping to get the whole thing to come out in one piece. But of course this could always tear, and then you'd have the blocker in effect still blocking contact, and hence your device would not work. So anyway, at least that gives you a chance to see the batteries included inside. Alright, so you can see you got the lights off here. I'm going to go ahead and test the flashlight function. So to do that, you push that silver button on the front, right there. And right now I just have this little lamp, so the camera had something to focus on prior to me moving this out of the way. So I'll put this behind me. It should get darker in here as far as the camera's concerned. There we go. So now I'll push the button on the alarm here. We'll see the flashlight function. Okay. So it's not the brightest flashlight ever. Still pretty bright. The idea is here, you know, for you to find your, I don't know, key card to your hotel or whatever, maybe if it drops on the floor or something. To give you an idea, I also have my always with me in my pocket one AAA battery flashlight, and this is how bright that is. And you can see, of course, this has a focusing lens. So put them side by side. I mean, yeah. So, but still pretty bright for something that's super easy to carry. Alright, so here it is in its door entry alarm setup, and you can see I throw it over the doorknob, then you can tighten it up a little with the slider. It doesn't have to be super tight, so that's more than enough right there. And then of course hanging down there is the body of the alarm where the siren is, and then there's our trigger set inside the space between the door frame and the door itself. So I'm going to go ahead and open the door, and that will allow that to fall out and separate, and hence the alarm will initiate. So get ready for loud noises. So I found out another use for this thing. It's not something that they showed you on the back of the box. But anyway, so let's say you want to protect an item like this Bluetooth speaker, for example, right? What you can do is you can kind of set up like a little booby trap. And there you go. So as long as the item isn't too heavy, because you don't want to crush these metal prongs because they're actually kind of thin. So as long as it isn't too heavy, you can use the weight of the item to hold the two prongs together. And as soon as anybody takes this and lifts it, well, you know what's going to happen. These are going to open and the siren's going to go off. And I'm not going to do it again because my ears are still ringing from the previous time. Alright, so let's just cover the last two uses for this device. These two uses were kind of mentioned on the back of the box. One is essentially doing the same thing we did as with the door, but instead with a window. And then the other one is you can use this as a personal panic alarm. So should you feel the need to draw attention to yourself, what you could do, you just carry this on you, and then when you need to, you would just pull this out, allow the prongs to open up, and then of course the alarm would activate. Okay, so now let me just do a quick disclaimer. I've only used this particular unit here for the duration of making this review, and so how long will it last you? I can't tell you, but I can say that, since the batteries are replaceable, and as long as you can find CR2032 batteries, you can keep pushing fresh batteries in here, which obviously should extend the life and use of this device. Now let's get to the tips and trick that I had. So, as I said, I've used a device basically the exact same thing, or if you're going to store this for a long time, go ahead and take out the batteries. And I know that isn't the tip right there, because that's just good practice for a lot of devices. But the tip for this particular device is, once you take out the batteries, go ahead and take out the prongs, allow them to separate, and then store it like that. That way the springiness of them separating on their own will remain. Yeah, I can only imagine if you keep it stored like this for year after year, those are going to end up not separating that much when you really do need them to trigger the alarm. Alright, so let's get to the conclusion here. Would I recommend this? Yes, this is an easy one. Why wouldn't you buy this? First of all, let's talk about the price. I picked this up from a big box store here in the States for it was $12 before tax. Okay? That's not asking too much for all the functions that this thing can do. On top of that, it's super easy to carry. As you see, the size is very pocket friendly. You can put this in probably you can even fit this in that little pocket on jeans that you put quarters or whatever in, above the main pocket. So yeah, so you can put this in nearly any pocket. It's super lightweight, and even if you're not traveling at the moment, like going to a hotel or whatever, there's a lot of other uses you can use it for. The flashlight, the personal alarm, and yeah. So yeah, why wouldn't you?